methodology. So custom methodology, it is usually used in small organizations. So it is based on the user skills and task match approach. It is developed to allow the design team to understand and fully document the user requirements. So this custom methodology focuses on establishing the stakeholder requirements. All stakeholders are considered and not only the client or the end user. Here in custom methodology, all the stakeholders will be considered, and this is applied at the initial stage of the design. So the emphasis is on capturing the requirements. Mostly identifying the requirements will be the first step of your software development. You all know that in software development life cycle you have different phases, that is like a communication plan, then you go for a design, then you write the code, you test it, and then you implement it. So these are all the general steps which is followed in a software development. So in that case, collecting the requirements is going to be the first step. Okay. So this methodology is applied at the initial stage of the design, and the focus will be on capturing the requirements. And this is a form based methodology, like you will be having some set of questions. You will be asking the stakeholders a set of questions at each stage, and by collecting the answer for those questions, you can identify the requirements. Okay, so mostly it will be used for small organizations. So there are 6 key stages in custom analysis. Let us see what are all the 6 stages. So first stage is describe organizational context, which will be including the primary goal, the physical characteristics, political and economic background. So first step, we are going to describe the organizational context. Then the second stage is you have to identify and describe stakeholders, including personal issues, role in the organization, and what is the job. So you have to identify uh, and you have to describe the stakeholders. Okay, what are all the issues? You have to identify what are all the issues and what is the task you have to perform in order to satisfy the goal. And the third step is you have to identify and describe the work groups, whether formally constituted or not. So you have to find out the work group. So who is going to develop the design, who is going to write the code, who is going to test it, who is going to look at the backup support. So all these work groups has to be identified. When I say identifying the work groups, you should see to that they have proper experience. All those things comes under that. Okay, so that is the next step. And after identifying the work group, you have to identify and describe the task object pairs. So to we have the first step, we have identified what is the goal. Now we have to identify what is the task that has to be performed in order to achieve the goal. So for each and every task, what is the object we are going to use? So we have to find out the task object pairs. Then after identifying the task, we have to identify the stakeholder needs. So in this case, stage 2 to 4 is described in terms of both current system and the proposed system. So the stakeholder needs are identified from the difference between the two. And finally, we have to consolidate and check whether the stakeholder requirements is fulfilled or not. Okay, whether we have identified all the requirements or not. Okay, so that is going to be the final step. Can you understand the 6 key stages in custom analysis? You have to identify the goals, what is the physical characteristics, what is the political and economic environment. Then we have to identify the stakeholders, what is their issues, what are all the job we have to perform, and what is their role in the organization. Maybe who is going to, then we have to identify who are the work groups. And next we have to identify what are all the tasks which has to be performed and what are all the objects which has to be used. And then we have to bridge the requirements from both the current and the proposed system. We have to collect the requirements, that is the stakeholders requirements, and finally we have to consolidate, and we have to check whether we have identified all the requirements or not. Can you